local communities in New Jersey and Delaware do not support offshore wind farming, and they cite environmental concerns or impacts on their coastline view.
So here to help us discuss the pros and cons are Robin Schaefer, president of Protect Our Coast New Jersey, and Ed Potosnak, director of the New Jersey League of Conservation Voters. Robin and Ed, welcome to Studio 2.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us, Sherry and Avi. Very pleased to be on the program with you, and nice to be with you, Ed, as well.
Thank you. And listeners, we want to hear from you. Do you support or oppose offshore wind farms? You can call us. The number is 888-477-9499. Our email address is studio2@whyy.org. Again, the question: do you support or oppose offshore wind farms?
Ed, I want to start with you. And Ed, by the way, is the director of the New Jersey League of Conservation Voters, who backs offshore wind. But I do need someone to set up for our listeners exactly what the state of play is in New Jersey right now, because we had this Orsted project. Now that's gone. We had a project that continues to move forward. Then there's two new projects. There's a lot of moving parts here, Ed. So can you just explain what are the projects moving forward right now in New Jersey, and where are they in the sort of the timeline of completion?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I'm Ed Potosnak, Executive Director with New Jersey LCV, and like Greenpeace and New Jersey Sierra Club, we're really glad to see New Jersey moving forward to save lives with responsibly developed offshore wind. We're grateful that we have a governor as a state of play item and a president that get it. They understand that we need to improve public health by shutting down dirty fossil fuels and create good local jobs here in New Jersey that can't be outsourced, and address climate change, help protect our communities with energy independence. And there's a number of moving parts. One project that is currently active and just received approval from the federal government is Atlantic Shores. And that's the one that's the most teed up to move forward, and we're really excited about that because of the cleaner air it's going to bring. And then recently, the Board of Public Utilities approved two more projects. One is Attentive Energy, and the other is Leading Light Wind. And those are much further out. And as you mentioned, Orsted, which was the furthest along, that company withdrew. And we're actually pressuring them to either use those leases or sell them to someone else so we can get the benefits, including the cleaner air.
Yeah, just real quick, Ed, follow up. So the Atlantic Shores project, from what I was reading, at its nearest point is what, 12 to 13 miles offshore. And then these new projects that have just sort of popped into at least our public consciousness are like 40 miles off the coast. Is that about right? Because that seems very different.
Yeah, they are very different. Actually, you're probably not going to hear much about the ones that are much further off because you're not going to see them. I think a lot of the opposition that we hear is rooted in one thing and sort of veiled in other sorts of misinformation, and that is the view. Folks are concerned that when they look out in the ocean, what they're going to see. As a shore guide myself, as a New Jersey native, I can tell you that the greatest threat to our shore is climate change itself. But the Atlantic Shores projects are anywhere from 8 to 15 miles off our coast, as many as 20. And that's really what I think has gotten a lot of the opposition whipped up with the fossil fuel funded sort of misinformation.
Yeah. Well, let's give Robin now a chance to chime in there.
Yeah, and so I do have one more question for Ed before we go to Robin for the counter argument here. Ed, could you just explain how the construction of this wind farm would work from your perspective?
Yeah, so it undergoes rigorous environmental review with a lot of stakeholdering, opportunity for the public and experts, environmental groups like ourselves to weigh in. Our number one priority is protecting the environment and making sure these projects are done in a way that's consistent with the most protective environmental strategies. Of course, after that review is done and there's a lot of time for folks to weigh in and the approvals are granted, from that document, that's what the developers are held accountable to, including things like having full-time, 24-hour marine mammal observers to shut down the project if any endangered species are in the area, and other sort of protective measures like the time of year with which the projects are installed or constructed to ensure that we're minimizing any nuisance to in species that are in the area.